Comfortable at 40. When smell some, somebody ask me. Money stink, one be it nasty. Rich so till when me see millions, me no want it. Me pocket them too shallow, nothing can't fit. If you sit and enjoy riches with me lovely, with bag of money in me pocket and bug me. 10 years from now, where we'll end up. Will I live the life that I've always dreamt of? If me dead a morning, will nobody even care though? How much of me friend them still I got there, sir? 10 years from now, where will I be?
9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Explicit, boy.
The ladies of the morning are back with you. I would say we're back to activate, but we've been doing that since 6. Right about now, we're getting ready to go. So you should be activated, right? This is our final talk segment of the morning. This one is Talk to Us, which means talk to us. What do you got to say? You have something to say? You have a topic you want to bring up? You have a question you want to ask? Talk to us. That's why we're here. How do you talk to us? You don't send us a letter. It wouldn't reach in time. What you do is you call us, right? 457-9997. That's our number, landline, WhatsApp, everything. That is it, right? So if you are thinking about calling us, you're going to give us a call because you have a topic you want us to talk about or something from earlier that you haven't really clarified as yet and you want to do that, we're going to give you some time to do so, okay? And all righty. Oh, hi, caller. Good morning.
Caller? All right, so this number... Hi. Oh, Dave, good morning.
Wow. I don't know. Something is wrong trying to connect with you guys. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Yes, we are.
Okay, well, I just hear you coming there, Roleza. And I heard my girl sounding real excited. I don't know if she has been activated. I mean, to the extent that she has to let it out, huh? Let out.
Dave Roberts.
Interesting. This morning with the police, and I was trying to get him there. Because how many of us know when they said, or one of them said that an 8-year-old can be charged for some criminal activity. Honestly, I wonder how many of us think about that. And I want to ask the question. At the time, seeing that they were they were on the program, as to how many 8-year-old criminals we have in the country. Is that a valid question?
I guess maybe the question would be between
how many 8-year-old criminals we have had since all of these laws have been adhered to or implemented. And some of the laws are local laws that have been introduced by the powers that be, our government and so on. But it's always, when you deal with these issues, especially where children, infants are concerned, very touchy, and it's not so easy to convey your message as the guardians in terms of law and order, criminal activities, and so on. I am happy that this program came on stream. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was introduced on WEFM, or maybe that's where I started hearing about the police coming on the radio and to have this particular program. I know there's another one on national or state-owned radio, NBC, Police on the Beat. And I try to follow both of them because it is very important, it's a very integral part of us to know what we can say and what we cannot say, what we can do and what we cannot do in terms of not getting into trouble with the police. So, yeah, so my concern is about the 8-year-old. Is an 8-year-old, for instance, not all 8-year-olds will be developed to that, to that understanding of knowing what they should do and what they should not do. Those are some of the, just wanted to raise one of those questions. Well, I hope they're listening. So when they come back, because I may take the opportunity when but I seem to be having some problems with my phone. Anyhow,
Okay.
you gals, or you ladies, or you women, however you respect yourself, because sometimes some women do things to make others say things about them, and they don't even realize that. All right, have a good day.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
Dave.
then, Dave.
All right. All right. So we have another caller at this time. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Good morning, Angel.
Good morning.
How are you? Both on this beautiful day. Well, not beautiful day where I am. I hope it's the same way where you are. Okay. I'm going back to the topic of traveling, living in a different country, and I will really, really endorse that Dianna take a trip somewhere because it's the only way we will find out how other people live. It's an experience because I know a lot of people who talk about other countries, this, that, and all that. They have never traveled the country, but they're expert in a country. I lived in England for about 11 years. When I first got there, believe me, I was the only black in the class back then. Only black. I remember one English person said to me, when I told him I'm from the Caribbean, obviously never heard of certain things. Your question, did you used to live in a tree hut? Believe me. I said, no. I said, you've been walking through the stars. Yep. But it's a culture shock, back in those days. Wasn't too many Caribbean people around. But I must say, the ones that I come across in England, where I used to live, I would say a lot of them are very genuine people. Up until today, I spent most of my life in America, and I still think some of my best friends are still in the United Kingdom.
Okay. Interesting.
Absolutely. It is. When my wife and I got married, I had a good friend of mine, Caucasian. We used to go to school together. We were never friends in school, but after school, we met up. We used to go to the pub every weekend. And he came to America 3 times for me. And last time when my wife and I got married, he brought his whole family with him, 5 of them. 5 of them came to our wedding. And of course, 2 years ago, we went back because his son got married. As a matter of fact, he named his son after my first son. He got married and invited us, and we went back. But and I lived in New York for almost 20 years or more. In Atlanta, I lived in Atlanta 11 years, so I moved around. And now I'm in the South now, in Florida. So it's good to move around to learn how other people live. It's an experience.
Agreed.
And when when I was in England, and I said, these people in England back then used to save up for a whole year to go on a vacation. And I said to myself, but when these tourists should come into St. Vincent from England and they throw money in the water for those guys to swim, we used to say, they're rich. But when I got to England, learned for myself, they save a whole year to go on a vacation. It's an experience. All right, so have a good one.
You too. Thanks for sharing yours as well, Jeff. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I'll be traveling to Barbados for my mom's funeral on Monday.
Oh,
I'll be in Barbados.
Right.
Our funeral will be on Wednesday. So I'll be listening to you guys from down there when I get there.
All right. We appreciate hearing that. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye.
Not a problem.
All right. You want to say something? Yeah. All right. So as I was listening to Jeff, And him talking about living in England for a while. I remember when I had a friend. Well, I still have the friend, but all right, let's finish that after. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, sorry to call back. That gentleman, he's correct. I've got lots of English friends. Right now, I've got more phone calls from England than I got in Finland. Some of my ex-bosses, they'll call to find out how I'm getting on and so on. The English people themselves, it depends on where you are, where you live in. I mean, you go to the north and people are different there. And the south is different, you know. So for the English people themselves, they have their prejudice, but they're not too bad. And as I said at my earlier talk this morning, some of the black people, believe me, they treated us very badly. The ones who were there, instead of trying to tell us, well, listen, try and do this because such and such and such and such. They put pressure. A lot put pressure on us, and especially the ones who have a home. You go in there. You might not believe this, but I shared a house with 13 people. 13 people. And they had one room with 3 ladies from Mexico, 2 brothers living in one room. I shared a room with 2 other guys. And then they talk, and they put 2 stoves in the kitchen. One is for the family, and the other one for us to use. 1 bathroom. You know, it was terrible. And the most thing is, we were trying to live among ourselves with black. You know, we tried to get into it. But to be honest with you, some of the black people rougher than the white. And as I said, I endorse what that gentleman just said there. He had some good friends, real great friends. Who said I've got regular calls from white English. And since I've been here, about 4 different families came to visit me. Okay. They rang me and told me they're coming on the cruise trip, and I got them up here a place, and I took them around, and we had a nice time. So not all bad things to say, you know. So I enjoy myself.
Before you go,
I used to come home very often, you know, while I was there. So I tried to learn what was going on in St. Vincent and so on. So when I came home to live, it was no problem. Absolutely no problem with me. But you've got some of the blacks over there. Me can't go out there to live. Me not go back there to live. Road too small. Just to that road. It hurt my tummy. Anyway, sorry about taking up the time.
Before you go, Mr. Mason, I have a question. Have you ever, while you were in England, did you ever experience racism? Well,
yes, definitely. Oh yeah, man.
Okay.
I took a few bust nose, but I was a strong guy. I mean, we had to fight, and oh yes, I did.
Okay. All right.
You know, I'll be telling a lie so that I never, you know, and I've got a daughter there. She said to the teacher, one teacher once, I only came to school, you know, because my parents sent me, but I don't come. So that question, yes, I did.
Okay. All right then.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Mason.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. We have another call. Hi, Kojo.
Like them, they just time one another. How it doesn't.
But so.
But it's true. It's true.
Kojo.
Okay. Yes. Conversation finished.
Yes, Kojo, you have the floor.
I kind of like have to endorse a lot of the calls that are coming in about the leaving your country. I'll be honest with you, I used to travel long before I came to America. But when I came to America, because my mom needed my help, so I came with the intention of spending a long period of time to, you know. I tell you, the first 6 months living in America with the intention of not coming to see St. Vincent was the hardest 6 months of my life. It's like somebody sent me to jail. I was free in America, but like I was in jail because I can't tell me mother why I want to go back home because she's gonna cry, you know, because she needed my help. So I come with the intention of helping her. But I was like, before 6 months, you could ask my mother. Sometimes I cried, knowing that, oh boy, you mean I get to be up here for this long carnival? Well, don't ask for carnival. When carnival come and I still doing my helping my mother on carnival dance. Everybody say they're going on for carnival. Shh. Cause that time me ain't working here, so me can't even make no big set of money for come home. You feel like you're in jail. I don't know how people could make it without not going back home. You know, right? I tell people if I had to live like that for too long, I'd have been back in St. Louis for a long time. I can't leave my country for too long. So I tell people I don't want to feel like I'm in prison. So it's hard. It's hard to live outside a country that is not yours.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Kojo, for that.
All right. All right.
So that last part that Kojo stated is interesting because I was having a conversation with somebody just yesterday, or the person listened. So if they want, you can identify themselves. But all right, let me see. We have another caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Morning.
I live in England. I lived in England for 40 years, right? And when I went up there, I did experience the racism, but nationalism, right?
Okay.
I'm Caucasian, as you know me, And when I was working in the butcher shop, because I had an accent arriving in England, I was a 17-year-old, I've acted. And every week we're having a competition to guess which country I am from. There's a Polish, French, Spaniard. As the customer keep coming and the manager then told me to keep it going.
Okay.
So eventually, after I told them I'm from the Caribbean. He said, "No, you can't be from the Caribbean. There are no white people in the Caribbean."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was really, really fun. When I arrived in England in 1960, because of the freedom in St. Vincent, running everywhere, here and there, and you got no friends. All I went up to meet my father. You had no friends. You got nobody to talk. You don't even know your next door neighbor. And it was the most lonesome thing in my life. I used to cry every day. I wanted to come back home to St. Vincent. I just couldn't come back home to St. Vincent because my mother is now coming back up with all 15 of the children, right? Coming back up. I had to survive. But I survived because I work with the people. I know how to conduct myself and everything like that. And I had no complaint about living in England for 40 years. Where I am today, thank God for England. Where I am today, work hard, be honest with everybody, and be honest with it and be yourself, So that's why I survived in England for 40 years. So I can write a book about my life in England,
You should.
Yeah, you have a nice day.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Mr. Gibson. All right. All right. We just so Mr. Gibson touched on the point of loneliness, which was just something that I was going to make mention of in terms of the conversation I was having with somebody yesterday, where they were saying that they don't know how persons do it when they go overseas, in terms of like how the setup of some apartments are, where, you know, like for us, it's so easy to come outside on your porch, sit down on your porch, taking the breeze, you know, you can walk about freely and that sort of thing. But when you go overseas, depending on how the housing situation is, many persons find themselves feeling alone, right? Especially if you're just moving and you have family members, yes, but family members can't be there and be around you all the time because they have to go and make a living.
Yes.
So I think that is one of the adjustments that persons have to deal with. One of the other things too is that I notice, especially for young persons, because I have a friend who went through this about 20 years ago, because we met around 20 years ago. I remember him just wanting to get out of Vincy, right? He couldn't wait to get out of Vincy. He just found Vincy to be this and this way and that way. And at the time, I did not like hearing it because I felt like, you're pulling down the country and so forth. But as a young person at the time who had goals, he just did not feel as if he could have accomplished his goals being here, right? So he joined the Navy. He joined the British Navy. And it's interesting because now, 20-something plus years later, he wants to come back home, and I look at it and I said, well, imagine before you couldn't wait to leave and now you can't wait to come back. But I said, it's not something that I would beat him up on. I would not pull him down and that sort of thing, because at the time when you're younger, you want to be able to make a way. But the thing with him is that when he comes back now, he has property here and that sort of thing. So he's coming back at least with something, so when persons have the opportunity, as I told you, if you have, I don't want you to leave necessarily. I mean, we could stream from overseas, but if you have the opportunity, you would know what is your push factor. And for me, when you're young, try to capitalize on all the opportunities that you possibly can, especially when it comes to travel. I would just love to be able to win lottery right now and go on a cruise, right? No. But I'm saying the cruise because you could go to multiple destinations from one cruise, right? Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Why I'm saying a cruise at this time. But yeah, I just would love to be able to be out there, But place and time and money, all in good time. All right.
It's true. It's true. That's why Brother P. John is working assiduously on that list so that we could travel the world on a yacht.
Yeah, we just accompanying, all right? We just being friends. All right.
Just to help observe and point out the different animals in the ocean, seeing that we are Caribbean folks, we'll be able to, direct to that. You see that there? That's land. And you see this? This is sea. Yeah, man, that's what we're going to be doing. Hey, happen, Roleza. All righty then. So it is now very late and we are going to head into our community dateline right now.
Nothing else.